Heavensward. But
Realm Reward.
yeah, Realm Report. I don't think that's horrible, man. Come on, come on. Starting up with the horrible puns again. All right. Well, tonight we're going to start a discussion, and you guys are going to think, we're just taking this opportunity to kind of talk about ourselves and be a little bit. I don't know what's the right word for it. I don't want to say just self-centered. There's another word that I could put in there. I don't know. You guys think of a better word for that, and I'll say it. But, you're going to think that we're kind of focusing just on ourselves and patting ourselves on the back. But really, I want to know what you guys have to say about the show. I'm really invested in making this show be the best I can within my ability and my sanity. So tonight, I kind of want to just discuss certain aspects of the show on the show so we can keep the community involved with the development of MogTalk, because I make this show for you guys, and if you're watching the show and I'm doing something that would be a little bit more entertaining for you, then, if it's not hard to do, let's do it. So tonight's topic is simply MogTalk in review. To start, let's talk about the actual content that we provide here on MogTalk. The show content is important for creating this show, and while there's been a kind of a lull before Heavensward, it's been kind of difficult to actually come up with content to provide for you guys on the show. I'm hoping that we've produced a couple things that you guys might actually care about. And within content, let's start with, do this in kind of segments here. And I want to start with news. We've talked about third-party developers, which may be a little bit taboo for Square Enix, patch notes, contests, released information, and more other things that we've talked about. Are you guys enjoying our news segments right now? What else do you think we should cover, and what maybe that we shouldn't cover? Hell, is all the information we present actually already known by you guys? Are you guys just kind of sitting through here listening to stuff that you guys have already heard about, or is the majority of it something that you guys haven't read up on before? And let's start with you, Gilly, Adagio. Let's talk about it a little bit. Or do you think do you like the news segments that we're doing?
But I think sure, there's always going to be a little bit of repeat information, especially in the lull between patches where you have so little amount of news. So yeah, sure, there's going to be repeat information, but I think personally, I think it's always good to have different perspective and different views and different discussions on the news. So even if it's the same news from the base, you can always get a different viewpoint or discussion going on it because there's different people talking about it. So I think it's good on that basis.
Okay, Gilly, what do you think, man? News good?
I actually enjoy the news because if I'm at work, I'm always checking up on Twitter, or when Facebook, the FFXIV fan page or whatever pops up with something new. I'm always reading up on it, oh my god, what's this? What's that? Ooh, shiny object,
Yeah.
So it's something nice, because I don't research the news almost religiously, but it's kind of nice to hear at the beginning of the week, it's oh, I know something new this week, something about the game, and I could kind of fill in people about that too.
And so,
but you're the news guy. You're supposed to live and breathe the news, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
know everything about it.
Shut up, Adagio.
Well, Derange kind of brings up a point that I'm backing as well. We discuss stuff that people might know, but we're also sharing our opinions and discussing the topic. We're not just saying this is what's going on. We talk about the news. We say, all right, for example, when we were talking earlier here about the Eeyore a cafe, we talked about how would it do in the U.S. And so that's good content, I think. But, maybe sometimes you guys are like, F you. I don't care. And if you guys are wondering about the slide I have right now, and I basically took, we've had 12 shows before this. Well, technically, I guess 13 if you include the pilot, but 12 shows before this, and I took one segment from each one of those shows and put them together here on the panel. And we've talked about Triple Triad, we've talked about the Live Letter, Final Fantasy XIV at PAX East, flying mounts, interviews, we go on and on. And one thing that I'm kind of curious about, I did a segment earlier where we talked about, this required actually getting submissions from people, but we talked about horror stories. Did you guys think that was good content?
I like the horror stories, honestly. I thought they were funny. I think we should definitely probably collect a few and not do it like every week, but once we get like a good collection of them, maybe do a bunch at a time. I found them funny. I liked it a lot.
Okay. Maybe we can just have people kind of do submissions in there. And maybe we can do another Google document and just say, hey, if you have something to kind of give us, what is this for a horror story? What is this for this segment? This segment. Every once in a while, once we have enough build up in that segment, we can go ahead and do a show with that included on it. And that could be another segment for us. Sound like a good idea?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, cool. I mean, I think that we're just going to keep up with the news. We might just change a little bit of how we present it. I kind of liked how we presented it today. I thought it worked out pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty smooth and pretty nice, I think.
All right. Well, cool then, guys. Cool then.
No, you freaking suck.
God damn it! I knew it.
Didn't learn anything.
I knew it. I'm not learning anything. All right. Well, we'll just have to get someone else. Put Logan. Put Logan on the stream. Go ahead. He'll take your spot.
Okay, sure.
So apparently we got reviewed on the Lodestone.
Oh yeah.
We got reviewed on the Lodestone. Oh God! Why would someone review us on Lodestone?
Like they reviewed the show.
Why would they review us on Lodestone? Like this? I guess maybe.
If you look at the name who did it, you'll notice.
Okay, it was Dins. Thank you, Dins. I really appreciate that, man. I'm going to actually go back and read that later on. Let me grab that before it goes too far in chat. I'm going to put it in my little document here so I can look at it later. All right. So let's go on to another part of this too. So there's news. Another thing that we kind of talk about is just we have our discussions. And with the discussions, they're now a main part of the show, but at first they weren't really the focus of the show. They were just kind of like, hey, let's just talk about it this week. This is something that we could actually spend nice 30 minutes an hour talking about. But now every single show, that's kind of what we do. We have a discussion. And I think it's actually a lot of fun. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And there's a lot of things we can actually dive into with Final Fantasy XIV that might not be given much attention, otherwise. Sometimes, I'll talk to somebody, and they'll say, I'm like, you know what, Lodestone sucks, and they're like, Lodestone sucks, and that's the end of the conversation. We don't actually go into any kind of justifiable means of why it sucks or why it's good or anything. I think that's kind of important, so we actually have a proper perspective on things, and we're not just kind of throwing BS around. So, that being said, how are the discussion topics so far? And Gilly, Adagio, and I'll start with you, Adagio, if that's all right.
I think we've actually been able to, like, the discussions we've had, I think we've been able to get in pretty decent with them and, like, have some pretty good conversations about them. Some of them I honestly didn't think would take off as well as they did, and, like, we got into it and we made it last a decent amount of time. We got into decent discussion on it. So, I mean, so far, I don't think we've had a really bad discussion. I could be completely off base. Maybe somebody didn't like it, but I mean, I think that all the discussions we've had so far have been pretty good.
Yeah, and chat, of course, tell me your opinions on our discussions. Do you think that they're a good highlight of the show? Is that one of the reasons you guys come and watch? Or do you kind of get bored every once in a while? You're just kind of giving us sympathy by being here? Killy, are you liking our topic so far?
Yep, it's really good, actually. Like our discussions, I wish we would get into more like heated discussions, like where we're hating each other by the end of the cast. That'd be
I don't agree with you. I like agreeing with stuff.
What?
Screw you, Gilly.
Gilly, you fucking suck. Get off the stream. Bye, Gilly. Get out.
Bye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens like that, and that's just kind of, sometimes we get into a discussion, it's hard to disagree on things without us looking like an idiot. I mean, we could always say, Gilly, we're going to plant you, and you're always going to disagree with us no matter what, but you'll end up looking like a dumb asshole at the end of every single show.
It's all right. People seem to love it.
I mean, yeah, maybe you're already seen as that. Maybe we're okay.
I think I should fill that role. I think I can fill that role, guys.
You can fill that role.
Talk stupid shit, and people are like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Well, I think when we go into discussions, one of our low points is actually when we talked about Lodestone, to be completely honest with you guys, just because there wasn't a lot to talk about it, and not a lot of people have deep opinions on Lodestone. But there's been other topics with game mechanics that people have had a lot of interest. What topics haven't we discussed are people actually interested in us talking about? And I would love, again, Chad, if you have any ideas for things we can talk about, and unless if it's, let's talk about how great Weasel is, we're not going to have a discussion topic on that. I know you want that so much, Weasel, but we're not going to do it. Can you guys think of anything else that we haven't talked about yet?
I mean, I think we probably need to go down before Heavensward drops. Maybe go down like more of the classes and dynamics. Because, I mean, we did a touch base of the classes and, like, how the mechanics work and stuff, but, I mean, 3 tanks, we honestly didn't get a very good job on that one, I think. Yeah. So we could probably bring some new people in and have better coverage on the classes, honestly. Which, of course, would involve finding the right people to be able to talk to this stuff. And Valdis says a prep guide for 3.0 would also be pretty good, so maybe those 2 things.
We kind of did that a little bit.
We should just do Warrior next.
Yeah, do Warrior next. Yeah, well, that'll be our discussion. When Heavensward comes up, it'll be Dark Knight.
Warriors suck anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, you're so dumb, Adagio.
Paladins for life, all right?
All right, whatever. Okay, so one thing that you were talking about is like a prep guide. When we were on Mr. Happy's show, that's one thing that we talked about is what people can kind of really expect going into Heavensward. And they had someone who put together a 20-minute video, I think, for prepping for Heavensward. If I can find that link, I'll post it on the YouTube channel in the description so you guys can have that as well. And just to kind of promote other people with content. And just to give you guys a heads up, at least with the next 3 shows that we have the live letter coming up. And so we're definitely going to have a show talking about the live letter.
Speaking of, we do have a question.
Sure.
A couple of people, mainly Dins, asked how stoked we were for the live letter on Thursday.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping there's lots of information out there, and they give us as much information as they can before Heavensward is completely released. I don't want them to kind of filter that over the next 4 months or next month or so, 4 weeks. That'll make it really hard for me to do shows, but. I think if they give us a good, juicy bit of information on the live letter, I will be really happy for it. And thank you, Gilly, for posting that up over there. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for the live letter. We're going to do a show on it, and next week we're going to have Optical on the show with us. And so we're going to discuss everything about the live letter that we can then. And then the show after that, we have 3 shows before Heavensward's out. They're all going to be on Heavensward. They're going to be one, hopefully about dungeons and raids in Heavensward, another one about classes in Heavensward, and another one, oh my god, Heavensward's coming out next week show. So,
dude, I can't believe it's so close. It doesn't feel like it, but Jesus Christ, I'm happy. I'm getting stoked.
We should call it
jittery.
The Heavensward Reckoning.
Yeah,
the Reckoning.
The Reckoning. But, I mean, we have plans for that, and I think that's going to be the next month of shows is really going to be heavily focused on Heavensward, just because we got to keep the hype train is real, and we got to keep it rolling all the way until it actually comes out. And so, we could introduce other conversations on things like PvP or dive deeper into aspects such as the story, such as maybe just do a show purely on Garlands, their back history and everything about them. That show Gilly probably won't be on. We'll probably have someone else on the show that wants to dive into
story.
It's all right.
Come on, Frosty. You gotta learn how to pronounce stuff, man.
Garlands? What? That's not pronounced
Garleans.
Garleans?
Like so garlic and lions.
Garlean. Garleans.
Garlean.
Garlean. Lee-N. No, Garlands. Garland. Garlic.
Breads.
All right, I don't say Binu, so I don't need any of your slack.
Hey, that's how it's pronounced, right? That's how it's pronounced.
It's not pronounced Binu. All right. So, anyways, the Garleans, we could do a show just completely on them and discuss their back history and where they are currently in the game. And if you guys are interested in that, I will put a show together just on that and find people who are really deep in the lore, like the guy who does those YouTube videos. If I can get him on the show, maybe that would be a great show to have him on. Or we could just take a single show discussing one class, and we could have an entire show based on bards. And maybe one of the first shows we'll do will be entirely on paladins, so we can get that out of the way and discuss everything about it. I think if we do anything... The best show ever. I think if we do something like that, we should do it after Heavensward, but that's only really if people are looking for it. If you guys aren't looking for that in a show, let us know and we won't do it. But I think that might be interesting after Heavensward comes out because people are going to be kind of curious how the classes play differently.
Hopefully, I don't die from my 48-hour stream.
48 hour. Are you doing that from pre-order date?
Yeah,
Or whatever.
I hopefully will be able to access the new classes then, but who knows?
Yeah, and okay, so let's hold on. Let me catch myself back up to where I was. Another thing is about time. Do we need to limit ourselves on how long we talk, or is the discussion, simply talk as much as we feel confident about it? And I think that's what we've been doing. Is as long as we feel confident talking about something, then we should keep going. All right? And you guys aren't getting tired in shows, I don't think, right? You guys still have energy at the end of the show.
Oh yeah, I have plenty of energy. I mean, shoot, I would talk for hours if I could. And I mean, honestly,
you'd probably fall asleep at your chair, like you do on your stream.
Hey, I've only done that like once or twice. Okay, give me a break.
I don't think you could go 48 hours without getting yelled at, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that I think we should just go as long as we know anything on the topic, and then if we run out of stuff, then that's essentially where we end it. Because I mean, I think it's just a nice format that way, honestly. Because I mean, you get some of the other shows, and they have to cut people off half midpoint to keep it on time, and I just don't.
Let
like
me cut you off real quick. I can run it. No, just kidding.
Son of a bitch. No, I mean, yeah, I don't like shows that have to cut people off midpoint because they're trying to stick to a specific time frame. So
yeah, all right. Well, then we'll probably keep with that too. I mean, I like it. If you guys in chat are still content with it, I mean, honestly, you guys probably would rather more show than less show. So it would make sense for us to keep going if we have something that's actually worth talking about. I don't want to drag things out either and spend an hour talking about something that's not actually interesting to talk about. So that's kind of on my part with making the show and making sure it stays interesting. So I actually wanted to go back to a point that I meant to bring up in the news section, but I kind of left that off, and I want to just go ahead and go over it right now. With early release dates, a lot of games are doing that now. They're saying, all right, go ahead and pre-order the game, and you can play early release. If you pre-order the game anytime before the actual release date, you can jump into the game. So really, it's just a damn release date, right? And I'm going to tell you why I think it's genius and why I used to think it was just a dumb idea and concept, but now I think it's a little bit more genius. Because when they do early release, that's saying the game isn't ready yet. So they give 5 days of people smashing into the servers, making everything as horrible as they can, working out the bugs before they say, oh, okay, we're officially released now. This is the game you should be expecting. What do you guys think about early release? Am I kind of on board with that thought, or am I just out of my mind?
I think they want to do it just to see like how a real server test would be. Because, having 200 associates when they did that stress test wasn't really doing much justice because you had everyone pretty much in the same building almost. Mm-hmm. But putting it out in all across the country and stuff like that, I think will be the deciding factor if the game's ready or not. So having that 5-day gap is so they can actually fix and expand. Because you know how it was when the game first came out. Logging into your server was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from a stress test, it also what I think the original premise behind the whole early access thing was, of course, the stress test for one side. But it's also to break up the input load of players. Therefore, not on launch day, the 23rd, not everyone's going to be hitting that first area fresh off. All the people that got in early access are going to be moved on to other maps, other areas. So there's not going to be as much loadout on the first map on actual launch day because people have already been in doing it for 3 days or so, and they're already in further areas. So that breaks up the input of players. Therefore, it alleviates a lot of that stress that would be on the servers originally if they just said everyone has to start on this day, and there you go.
I would call it complete BS on that simply because everyone that's wanting to play the game is going to be in early access and they're going to play on the 19th. But honestly, I do think there's a good handful of people who are not going to play until Tuesday when the actual release date is, simply because they don't understand what early release is. But yeah, I mean, you're kind of right there. It's to give a stress test and to give a slightly less stress test than there would have been if they just released everything on Tuesday. So, and if something messes up and screws up over the weekend, hey guys, it's just early release. Sorry, you know, and it's in. It's done with.
Well, how I see it is like if they, you know, if they didn't do the early access and then they just basically threw everybody to the wolves, it's like, here, play the game, it's out. And all the servers are just backed up from everyone trying to log in. That would piss off some people. That would actually drive people away from the game, you know.
And it has. It has. If you've heard the story about Kerr and I when we first started, that's completely related. But, okay, I just wanted to bring that up real quick because I really wanted to bring that up in the show when I was writing that news segment, but I just blanked out on it when we actually went past all the news on it. So, the next part I want to talk about with MogTalk is the host and the guest of the show. And so, oh gosh, the section, I first want to just say I appreciate every single person that has been on the show. You guys have been actually amazing, especially Gilly and Adagio, who's been here for the majority of the MogTalk shows so far. I mean, we've had Samus come on. In the beginning, we had Jack here. Kerr jumps on every once in a while. We've had Dins on the show. We've also had Miztech and Ark. And they've all been great additions to the show and made MogTalk actually really enjoyable. Emma, that is completely wrong. That is completely wrong.
Shots fired. That hurts.
Yeah. And so, going into that, you know, what do we want to add more than 4 guests out at one time? And yeah, shout outs to Ark, definitely. He was awesome on the show. He's not a really big streamer right now, but he's getting into it. He did a really great job when he was on the show.
I thought he did a really freaking good job. He definitely knew his shit.
Yeah, I might, you know, maybe we'll have him come on the show more often too. So, do we think right now I'm kind of limiting the show at 4 guests or 3 guests or 3 people on the show besides myself actually here. If we add in 5, then we're kind of hitting this point to where we're having shows that are going past logical times that we can actually have the show. We actually will probably die from exhaustion for how much we will talk, or we'll have to cut people off. So, should we have more than 4 people on the show at once?
I don't think so, because the way we've kind of been formatting it is when we bring someone on, we have like a mini interview with them, and it kind of like brings in a more personal feel with the guest and getting to know who this person is and getting to know why they're on this show for this particular topic. I don't see bringing in multiple guests, because then you wouldn't be able to do that same format, and I really like that format that we've been doing. So,
all right, Gilly, what do you think? More guests, or keep it at the same?
Can your bandwidth handle it?
I'll make it handle it. No, my bandwidth should handle it. It's not my bandwidth that's screwing up. It's goddamn the ISP. But we'll get into that later. I'll actually talk about that a little bit later in the show. But do you think if we could have 5, 6 people on the show, would you want 5 or 6 people? Do you think that would kind of take away from the show or add to it?
It'd probably add to it. I mean, we'd have to definitely probably start or at an earlier time for that, you know, particular show, because, you know, trying to get everyone's opinions, and if it drags on into later tonight, people will start logging and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of an idea.
Yeah. I mean, we would have to kind of reformat the show a little bit to actually fit those people in there. I think the amount that we have right now fits pretty well for our show. I didn't have anyone on the show tonight besides just the 3 of us, because I felt like it was important just for the 3 of us to be on here, since we're kind of MogTalk. So we should be the ones getting the heat for things, not anyone else that would pop on here. If someone yells at us and calls us, you know, a piece of crap for lying, they should talk to us. So I don't want to have less guests on the show, but just to pose the question, should we limit it down to just 2 or 3 people total on the show at any point?
No, well, I mean, it really depends. Again, this goes for both, actually. It depends on the topic at hand. You can do more than 4 people, or you can do less than 2 if the topic really goes toward that specific thing. If you want to get like really deep into like a specific topic with a specific person, say like if you wanted to get really deep into like a white mage or a bard or something, and really get hammer that out. I don't think that like me or Gilly or one of us should hop out and just have you three or something, because I wouldn't have any real input on Bard, so I wouldn't be doing much except for watching the chat. So I mean, in that kind of instance, I could understand having more or less than 4 people. So I mean, again, it really just depends on the format of the topic.
Okay. Well, I mean, going into another part of this, and I kind of skipped around on you guys, sorry, in the the layout that I had for the show, but let's go into Q&A, because I think this is kind of related. The Q&A segments are something I feel like I definitely want to keep in the show, and there's different formats. We've done 2 different Q&As kind of on the show, and we have smaller versions, then we have the larger versions, like we did with Ms. Tech. With Ms. Tech, we made the show focused on her Q&A. I mean, did everybody enjoy that? I think it was a pretty good Q&A, right?
Yeah, I thought I'm still in everything. Gilly, you don't need to speak.
Yeah, don't need to talk, Gilly.
I thought it was a pretty good. I thought because a lot of people had a lot of questions for her, because she is such a big name in the Final Fantasy XIV community. And I predict that if we ever have Mr. Happy on the show or something like that, it would probably be the same format, because there'd be so many people that want to ask so many questions to that said person. So I mean, it really depends on the person you have on the stream.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the smaller ones are kind of good for just getting to know guests on the show if we're just not going to make the show about them. But then again, when we have those shows, like you said, we have Ms. Tech here and we're asking Ms. Tech questions. We kind of don't want to have 3 people kind of cornering her, all asking her questions. It probably should be kind of a one-on-one interview. And so it makes it kind of a weird format when we do those shows. And so we might have to kind of change up how we do those. But I mean, I want to have more of those. I want to get people on here in the community, not just, you know, Ms. Tech, Mr. Happy. I would love to get like people who develop some of the websites that are out there, third-party websites that people use all the time, and just kind of get their input on how they went about making it and what made them want to make it. Of course, it's probably going to be financial means, because you put an advertisement on a website and a lot of people are going to it, and you can make some money off of it. But I feel like we could pose some interesting questions for them. But, you know, if we're going to make the discussion just simply about something else, I mean, the other alternative we could do when we have people like Ms. Tech on the show who's really good at making guides, we can have people who only make guides on the show and have a discussion on making guides. But then again, I feel like it might be a little bit better if we separate those into shows, because each one of those people are like super big into the scene. Like Ms. Tech has lots of history with Final Fantasy right now, and so that justified a whole show just based on her. Mr. Happy, same thing. And if we had both of those on the show at the same time, it will kind of devalue what we can do for shows later on.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it's something like that, of course you have Ms. Tech on one episode, where you're using these 2 obviously for an easy reference. But I'd say if you have like Ms. Tech on for her show, we did the Q&A for her. Then you have Mr. Happy on, and for his show, do the Q&A with him. And then you want to do a guide thing. Let's just throw Zeno in there too. Say have Zeno on here and do his thing. Then if you want to have a show on guides, then you can bring all 3 of them in on that one show, because we already have the Q&A section out of the way, so we don't have to mess with that. We can just go straight into, you know, the whole guide process and making it. So
yeah, no, that's a valid point. And so we could have their Q&A before we go into the show. And Gilly, throw some input out there. You got something?
Yeah, I definitely think that, you know, Adagio's hitting the right points, actually. Like, having all of the same group of people in one chat would actually be more meaningful versus, you know, me, Adagio, and then guide makers, and we have no say on it because we've never made a guide.
Right.
I mean, I could teach you how to make it. I could teach you how to do ACT, but I don't think we endorse that.
Yeah, we can't, unfortunately, endorse that at all. And just to run back, Valiant Deeds, who's Sir Dan, if you guys haven't figured that out, I'm never going to do a segment on Final Fantasy XI. There's never going to be a day where I do a segment on Final Fantasy XI. The show is based on Final Fantasy XIV. I never played 11. I have absolutely no input on it. And to go back,
I don't think any of us ever played 11, so
yeah, and to go back and play it, what I could do is I can have 3 people who played 11 on the show and do a discussion on it, and just ask questions. But I will have no basis on that show. And if I did go back and play it, I'm taking away from time that I could spend working for Final Fantasy XIV. But let's just never say never. One day, if there's a really crunch time where I can't make a show and I need to pull something out of my beehole, then I will do a show on Final Fantasy 11, and you will be the main guest on that show, Sir Dan. So we'll do that. Not completely crushed, just mildly. So going off of the Q&A, there's a couple other bits I want to talk about with content and just kind of what else we could really add. You know, there's things that we don't have on the show that we could introduce. And while we're going over this, tell me what other segments maybe chat here would recommend for us to add to the show. There's only two things that I can really think to go over, and after we're done going over those things, if you guys have any suggestions, we'll go over those as well. And so, one is art. Art in the Final Fantasy XIV community is definitely blooming, but I don't know how to introduce that properly to the show. I mean, I could have it to where at the very end of the show, we could just kind of have those pieces up there at the closing screen and just sit there and we can kind of go over them a little bit before we do a host to somebody. But I don't know what other ideas we can do to make that actually a part of the show. Should we start and just say, hey, I mean, we could make a segment in the show and we could bring up art one by one that we found over the week and just sit there and look at it and kind of scratch our bottom of our chins and say, do you think the red color here brings out the color in the Makote's eyes in this picture?
I have some art for you guys.
You have art for us? What kind of art do you have for us? Is it art that I want to know about?
He got weird on us. He's like, I have art for you. Hold on a second. Let me get quiet and weird.
Quiet and weird. That would be...
Oh, okay. He was posting it. That's
yeah, okay. I see what is going on. He was posting it.
Oh, wow.
Is that... Is it bad art? Is it something I should not look at?
What did you do to him?
Oh my god.
What is that? What am I looking at, Gilly?
What? Oh god, I'm dying. Gilly, did you make this?
Yeah.
This is horrid.
What the fuck?
That...
Oh my god.
If you guys want to look, I'm not going to put it on the stream, but if you guys want to look at it, in YouTube, you're going to have to type that link in on the chat there to actually look at it. I don't know if I'm going to endorse it anymore than it's already been endorsed.
It's so good.
Is that what you do in your spare time, Gilly?
When I'm really bored, yes.
Did you? Here's the question: did you stream making that? Because I know you do stream making things.
I did that yesterday night. I was so bored.
Okay, let's jump back real quick.
Okay.
Do you guys think we could add an art segment to where it's before we go into news or after we go into news that we just kind of go over art we found and we kind of discuss certain aspects of it? I'm not like an art critic, so I'd feel kind of stupid going over some of that stuff. But what do you guys think?
I think we should pull a pool of artwork pieces. I mean, it's easy to find FXIV art all over the place, especially with Reddit and DeviantArt and all that. We should pull it together and then probably just showcase it, I guess we could say, as a closing, and then people can kind of relate to it. I don't think we necessarily need to judge it or critique it. We could just kind of just show it off and then give credit to everybody. Okay. Something to get their name out.
We should. The only thing is that I want to make sure that if we show it up there, I don't want to just sit there and have dead silence for a minute or so. We actually have to discuss it a little bit. Say, all right, well, this is kind of cute. I like the way they did this or this. I think we could probably pull that off. I just don't. Maybe we could add that into that section that we were talking about yesterday that we might add to the show, which we can talk about here in a little bit. It's the after show. Maybe we could do something where we sit around and talk about it with the people in chat after we're done with the show. We could talk about art and things like that, kind of off camera. I mean, would that be interesting?
Maybe for an after show. I mean, I don't know about making a full segment on the regular show for it. I mean, you could probably pull it off, but again, like you, I'm not really a huge art critic, so I really don't know what I would say aside from, hey, that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like the way that the water is shining off and reflecting the rays of light on the chocobo's eyes here.
Yeah. You, Robbins, actually made a suggestion that we could bring in the artist himself and ask him kind of what he said. Itself, like artists are things and not people, but we'll say bring him himself and just kind of, or herself. Sorry, now I'm being sexist. Okay, him or herself, and ask why they do the art that they do and what they don't love and love about it. I mean, it might be kind of interesting. Maybe we could have a show dedicated just to Final Fantasy XIV artists. and we could bring in 2 to 3 artists on the show and just kind of discuss what works they do, what kind of inspires them, and would you guys like that as a show?
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting to see, actually.
Yeah, for sure. That would be a good show topic. Throwing all the art there. There you go. That's a good show.
Yeah, good show. Here's all the art. You guys talk about it. Tell me what inspired you to make this. I think Makotes are cute. Okay, good conversation. Let's go to the next one.
But did you notice that their butt got smaller between 1.0 and 2.0?
I don't look at their butt. I can't tell you.
I just saw the forum post, and I'm like, seriously? You have nothing better to do with your time than compare the size of Makote butts?
I play a very buff male row, and so it's really hard for me to tell any difference in all the other characters. As long as my character doesn't shrink and it stays like a huge buff guy, I don't really care. But yeah, okay. So let's go into the next part that I thought might be an interesting thing, that you kind of brought up yesterday, Adagio, was having contests. That's another factor to the show is adding those in. But what ideas could we introduce for contests for our viewers? Maybe we could do a MogTalk redubbed, and they can come in and redub everything that we're doing right now. The show, they can make BS stuff like I could say, I'm saying irrelevant things that people don't care about, and you guys can respond, this is my response to irrelevant things maybe someone hates us. I don't know, and they could do that. Or, I don't know, what other concepts could we do for contests for people? We could do big things saying, hey, let's find anyone who can draw pictures or chibis, whoever can make chibis for us, and we put chibis on our streams, and those winners get so-and-so. But then again, while I'm not exactly poor, I'm not wealthy, so I don't have a lot of money to actually pump into gifts like every single week. So if we did contest, it would have to be like once a month or something like that. What do you guys think about contest?
Give us your best internal perception of Gilly and draw it down.
What is Gilly thinking the entire show? So go back to this show later on.
What is going on in Gilly's mind? Give him speech bubbles popping up.
Yeah, and just kind of do a redub of everything that Gilly's thinking about, and do like that little background echo so we know it's in his head. And just while we have these conversations, we can just kind of make up things that we think Gilly's actually thinking about. Ooh,
what is he thinking about right now?
Yoshi's eyes could probably have a little bitty beads on them, and it would be really funny to put into a picture. But Gilly, what do you think about contest, man?
Contest would be really cool. I mean, yeah, I have a nice hookup, so I can kind of pull some strings and get some stuff for people. So we can actually do giveaways and stuff for like a contest.
Emma says she's too lazy for contests. Just do raffles.
Raffles.
We could do a /random against the realm.
Yeah, we could. We could do a random for everyone that's in chat for that night on the show, and we could give something away. But I don't want that to be a pull into the show. I don't want the show to be about, I'll come here because you guys might win something. I want you guys to come to the show because you actually enjoy the show. But if you guys really want it, and it turns out that the people who keep coming to the show think that's something that they would like, then, why not? We could work something in there. Maybe we could do raffles. So for the people who don't want to do anything that's artistic or any kind of work behind it, they can get something besides just watching them.
Do some raffles.
Raffles, yeah.
I see Asteria in game posting all kinds of stuff. Is he talking to us or what's going on?
Who is Hysteria?
Asteria Lionheart, he's by us, I guess, and then /say he's saying all kinds of stuff that looks like it's relevant to what we're talking about, but it's not in our chat. So I'm like, is he talking to us?
That's kind of weird. I don't know. Usually I get a lot of heat from the Party Finder, or like recently I have been, which I don't know if it really matters too much, but I put it up there just so people know the show's going on, at least on our server. But, whatever. If people don't want that up there, I don't have to put it up there either. So contests are definitely a possibility going forward in the future. Did we have any other suggestions that came from chat? I know one of do for a contest, submit your remix for Last Christmas, and another thing was do a 24-hour stream on Last Christmas, and another one was do a 24-hour stream on Christmas.
We're going to Christmas Day stream, yeah.
I don't know what his obsession is with Christmas, but
he just really likes Christmas, apparently.
I guess so. All the time. Did we run into any other suggestions that I might have missed in the chat?
The only other suggestion was Emma said that maybe we could talk about new raid strategies, but I'm guessing that's like in 3.0, like, hey, this strategy kind of works out, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that I think would be kind of good, is talking about the raids going into the future. But I don't know if we should talk about. We should talk about each raid individually, but we shouldn't have a show on every single raid that's in there. So actually, after Heavensward, and again, I told you guys this, but I have like the next 12, 13 shows planned out already, and one of them is going to be Alexander and Dungeons, and then we can talk about those on those shows, just how strategies form, maybe background for each of the dungeons, what's the point of the dungeon, things like that, and that might be an interesting show as well.
Are we going to collab and mix strategies?
Sure. Why not?
Between our groups.
We can always work together. But I'm not the person who's going to... By the time I down it, the strategy's already out there. I don't have, like... I'm not going for world first or anything like that, so it's really hard for me to... we're not probably going to be the show that you go to find out the strategy to beat a certain turn. We'll talk about it, probably after there's videos out and everything else. But I don't know if we'll ever be that show that... Everyone's like, all right, what's the next? What am I missing here? I don't. We can do it. If you guys want to do a show just on, like, for example, if we did T10 and we just discussed every single aspect of T10 and what to do with those, what those aspects mean, and by the end of the show, everyone will be a T10 pro.
No, I mean, yeah, you could talk about T10 and stuff, but then you make your own group and the strategies change. That's the only problem with talking about strategies, because like with our group, we have 2 bars, so we run a completely different strategy from normal groups because we don't have a caster. So, I mean, you can talk about strategies all you want, but until you get in there with a specific group composition, it's not going to really work out the same. So, yeah.
Right. All right. Well, that's definitely a thought for the future, and we can add those into different shows. And we'll kind of see how it all works out, too. Of course, the shows that I have planned out might be pushed around, depending if there's a live later that week. I have to fit that in, and then we'll push everything forward. But we'll see. I feel super prepared going forward in the future. The next part that I wanted to talk about as well is the interface. And so...
Looks like shit, Gilly.
This is Gilly's work. And so we want to discuss kind of the interface, and this is where Gilly's going to really care about your input of how the interface is. The only thing that I've done here is I put the names and words on things, and they could probably be done better. But I feel like keeping that separate from the border itself is important because those things change. So going into the interface, let's talk about actually the transition coming into the show. Right now, we don't really do anything special going into the show. But, I mean, we could do something special. Some shows have like a minute-long introduction to the show before the show starts. Some shows have 10 seconds of introduction, which we could probably do as well. We could do Wayne's World. We could say...
Wayne's World, Wayne's World.
You could do MogTalk. No, how do you do it? I can't do it.
No, here's what we need to do, guys. Here's what we need to do. Play the King Moogle Mog in the background, and each of us has a specific part in the song that we have to sing. There you go.
We could do that. That would be a very long intro. And I would have to go back and look at the words. I don't know what they are. Off with their heads, like the only thing I know about it. I think that, or Last Christmas intro. There we go. We could do that. For our Christmas special, we'll do that. We'll all sing Last Christmas. And you guys will either enjoy that or hate that. Probably the latter. But I think, maybe it's not something that's really important, but it's something that adds to the show. And we'll probably go forward with some transitions coming forward. And if you guys have any suggestions on how we should start the show with just maybe a 10-second generic song, or if we should actually put the work into making a show beginning, I don't know, introduction, then we'll do that. Do you guys have any thoughts on it?
Here's where the artwork thing comes in. Hey, anybody that has some artwork, submit it.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do some intro off of your artwork. There you go.
Could do like a interface contest.
There you go. That's the first contest right there. Our intro.
Yeah,
Boom.
and so if you guys can make a song describing an intro for us, and it's the best one, then we'll use it. Unfortunately, I don't think we have the pool of people yet, but if you guys have anything, go ahead and send it to me, and I'll just call you if you're the only person who sends something to me, and it's something we can use for the show, I will call you the winner, and we'll give you a mount or something, a scepter mount. Or how do you say it?
Sleipnir.
Sleipnir mount? Okay, we'll give you a Sleipnir mount. If you guys can...
Which plays the Odin music extra incentive.
Yeah, that's true. But if you send me complete crap, even if you spent a lot of work and you spent like a week on it and it's complete crap, I probably still can't use it. But, if you guys want to send it to me, Frosty ffxiv@gmail.com. I'll go ahead and post it in here. I doubt anyone's going to do anything with it, but go for it. So another thing that I want to talk about is when we do transitions between discussions and the news and everything else that we do, should we have a break in between everything?
No.
Gilly just shook his head like yes, and then he's like, no, wait a minute.
He did. He changed it because I told him. I told him what to do.
You tell him what to do.
Get out of my head.
Yeah, I'm in there. Now, honestly, I think. I mean, I can go the whole time. Honestly, like I said, I think that breaks just leave a time where people can leave the stream, and I mean, if they need to take a break, they can come back to the stream. But I mean, if we take a break, I mean, people come in, they see us not actively on the show. Oh, well, let's go find something else to watch. I mean, and it just breaks up like a flow. I mean, I think we have a flow that just constantly goes, and it just persists throughout the show. If you have a break in there, it breaks up that flow, and it could do a little bit of lag starting back up again. So
Yeah.
I don't agree. I don't agree with taking a break.
Okay, so you're completely against it. Gilly, you kind of nodded because he told you to.
No, I don't want a break.
You don't want a
I want
break?
to keep going.
The only
No
reason...
more breaks. No more breaks.
No more breaks. You got a union for making you guys not have breaks.
I got a snowball.
Yeah. Some people actually... A couple of people said they want breaks in the chat. And, I mean, that's something to introduce. I just don't know. And, again, the only thing I would be afraid of is that, again, people are coming into the show, like Adagio said, and they don't see anything happening, and so they want to leave.
The only person that said they wanted a break was Emma, and that's because she wants to put Logan on the stream. She wants me to have Logan dancing as a break time. That's it.
Kurt said it
Nobody else
too.
want
I think Kurt said yes to it. I think that's what he was saying
Did he?
yes to. Yeah.
Oh, Kurt.
Yeah, and so maybe he wants to have a break as well, so he can get up and go to the bathroom and still see everything that we're doing on the show. Because that's the only thing is if they get up and they leave, then they're missing out on content. But that being said, we also post this stuff on YouTube, so if there's anything critical that you guys miss, you can also... He said hi to you, by the way.
Hi, Kurt.
If there's anything critical that you guys missed, you can get it back from the YouTube video. So, I mean, that's something that we can put to thought. You know what? I have something that I can do here. I don't know if I'm going to do this right.
Well, I mean, I just see it because, generally, not with this show so much, but with our normal shows, we're, interviewing people, and I'm sitting here watching the chat for questions and stuff, which I'm not asking very many, so it's kind of I really don't know what's going on too much in the show. I'm not really paying too much attention to the show unless I'm asked a direct question. And then I go back the next day personally and I listen to the YouTube stream to see what was actually discussed in the show as full. I mean, again, if you need to take a break, there's always that option of checking it out on YouTube afterwards. So, I mean,
I don't know how to do... I'm sorry. If I knew how to do polls on MuteBot, I would do it. I haven't really got it yet down.
Polls, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do the. Can you not do the straw poll, or do you have to have a specific set for straw polls? Or?
I wish I was more familiar with it. I'm sure it's not too difficult. To use it, say vote. Maybe it's working. Maybe it did work. So yeah. So do exclamation point votes stay or leave. What?
No, Kurt. As far as him putting on YouTube, it's just straight upload to YouTube. He doesn't put chapters or anything.
No, I don't put chapters on there, straight to YouTube. I probably should do segments in there so you can click on something to go to discussion or click on something to go to news. But if you don't watch the news, you're missing out on the news, man. That's a great part of the show. I don't know. I probably should put segments in there and then have a segment for closing just in case you want to see the only part of the show. It's like, I want to see guys saying goodbye. I can put that on there too. Like timestamps within the video. But we'll look. All right, so we got a straw poll up and... Weasel, God, he's going to troll us. I know. I'm going to click on this and it's going to be something bad.
Oh, God. Weasel. Seriously?
He's the best ever. Okay, don't go to that troll. He's the worst person in the world. So, anyways, we'll talk about breaks later. It seems kind of like most people don't want us to have breaks. The only person that really puts any kind of real back into it is Emma. And she wants us to have baby breaks.
That's a troll break. That's not even a real break. That's a troll break.
All right. Kerr has put up a one for us. Okay, so if you guys want to do it, go to Kerrara's straw poll, and we'll look at it after we're done with a couple more discussions here with the interface, and we'll decide, do we need breaks or not between discussions. So, someone voted. The other transition is the ending. And so how we end off the show is also kind of important, right? We want to leave people with a good taste in their mouth. So do we need anything special before that? Should we... and the one thing I'm going to give shout-outs to Mr. Happy is that he does kind of a before show and after show. And on that, I think that's kind of a good note to have after show. And shout-outs to State of the Realm, by the way. I want to make sure that I completely clarify that. And after that show, they just kind of sit there and talk and flesh out anything else that could go on. And I mean, I'm completely up for that if people want to stay afterwards, that want to still hang out after the show and just shoot the shit around, right? That'd be kind of fun to do. Gilly Adagio, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I really liked the whole post-show, after-show thing that State of the Realm does. I thought it was a lot of fun. You can talk about random things that pop up without having a specific itinerary and just like bullshit around. And I thought it was a lot of fun, and I mean, something that the people on the stream can have fun and joke around with too. Because especially we were more active with the stream with the people in chat at that point. So I mean, I really liked it, and I think it's something we should probably steal from them. We're just going to take it
from them. Yeah, it's just a good idea. I mean, just having a simple, because when the show's going on, it's really hard sometimes for me to keep up with the chat. Because I'm really focused on discussion, especially with the guest. Right now it's a little bit easier because I feel like MogTalk is my baby and I know everything about it. So it's easy for me to jump back and forth. But going into that, I think it would be nice to just at the end of the show catch up with everyone and make sure I didn't miss anything that I might have missed during the show.
Emma, yeah, it would probably be a little longer just based off the break. But then again, it could be shorter because after we come back, we could start lagging on the answers and not get back into a full discussion. So, I mean, there's not really a right answer for that question.
I think it's going to be longer. I don't know. Sometimes it energizes people when they have the break. Sometimes they feel dragged out. They feel like they're derailed after the break. So that's the two options. Either if Adagio's derailed afterwards, he might not give us good answers.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've not had a break before, so who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. But I think it would definitely make it longer. The duration of the break itself and getting back, on topic. The time it would take to get back on topic, it would take a little bit of time. So I would say it would add maybe a good 30 minutes to each show of dead time. So we'll see.
I had to play like some music or something and just silence.
Yeah, and if we do that, I'll look at that DINS and we can look and see if there's a good. Just have a screen, this is coming up, here's a countdown on the return, and then it goes into the negative numbers because we missed a countdown or something like that. I'm sure we could do that. Yeah, we could do it for one show as well and see how that works out. Okay, so enough with transitioning. Let's talk about the layout, which again is Gilly's baby here. And the first part is, what changes do you guys think we could make to improve it? Right now, the one thing that I'm seeing is that I probably need to put a little black box up here behind topics, so it's a little bit more visible, because right now the background kind of makes it a little bit odd, but I can put a little black box here, fade it a little bit, and that way you guys can see these topics a little bit better. So, Gilly, just off the top of your head, what kind of changes do you think you could make that you would want to make?
Probably color scheme, but that's about it.
You don't like the blue and white color scheme? It's Frosty TV?
No,
Don't
like it.
All right.
It should be red and white.
Red and white, maybe for Mogs, and purple on some parts, right? That would make sense, I guess, a little bit. Yeah. Adagio, if looking at it right now, just off the top of your head, what's one change that you think you could make?
It's horrible. Change it completely. It's
completely. Just throw it away and have someone else do it. Fire Gilly on it.
Honestly, I like it. It's pretty good. It's nice and to the point. There's not too much flair with it, and it looks smooth and crisp. I think it's a good. Gilly did a really good job with it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and Kern puts up a point. Red is kind of aggressive, so blue is a little bit more calming. So the show feels a little bit calmer in essence. And I don't want it to be too crazy. I like it to be kind of light because I don't want it to take away from what we're doing. So there's a good point. So let's talk about guest and the host frames. Do those look pretty good? I think they look pretty good. We don't need to really. I personally don't think we need to add more information to it. I think the name and your Twitch handle is good enough, because if you want to know more about that streamer, you can go to their Twitch panel. And otherwise, we have like 5 different things up here. I don't know if that makes sense. If we were going to add something else besides the Twitch handle, what else would we add?
I mean, I've seen some streams add like real names, but I don't really think that's too important, honestly.
No, you guys don't even know what my real name is. For all you know, it's Frosty.
That is your real name.
It's my real name.
Brick. It's
I know.
Brick.
Or it could be Brick. People
It's
call me
Brick.
Brick too, so. Gilly, do you think we should add anything to the host? Should we add like a Twitter or something on there?
I think it's fine with just the Twitch handles, because I mean, if people are willing to find out, you know, who we are or where we're at, they would actually just go to the profile, you know.
Yeah. And so I like it. I think it's clean, and like Emma said, simple is better. Not too messy on the interface, and people are kind of happy about it. So another thing that we can talk about, again, I kind of already talked about the topic box. Do you guys just kind of agree with me that I need to add a little black box behind it to make it a little bit more visible in the topics?
Yeah, for sure. That should probably definitely be a thing.
Okay. It shouldn't be too hard. It would be kind of easy to throw a little box up there, and I'll probably do that for the next show. And now, one thing that I like doing that makes the show a little bit different than the other shows is that I have lots of pictures. When I'm going through, I have slides for everything. When we talk about something, I have a slide for it. Do you guys like those, or do you think it's overbearing and maybe we shouldn't even mess with it? I try to do it for every single point in each topic that we talk about. So, simple question, should we add more pictures or should we have less pictures? Adagio?
Again, to be honest, I don't pay too much attention to the actual stream because I'm busy looking at the chat and stuff. And when I do watch it on YouTube, quote unquote, it's actually just listening to it because I can't have YouTube playing on my.
So my work is completely ignored by you, is what you're saying.
I listen to it. I listen to it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't have too much of an opinion on how much pictures is. I'm guessing that they're probably a decent amount and they're good at what they are.
Okay. Gilly, what do you think, man?
I actually like the pictures. It gives the viewers more interactive play with it, to be honest. So that way they know what they're looking at, and we're not just spewing random information out, and they don't know what the heck they're looking at, or you know, what we see.
I mean, I'm with you. I think like having the pictures on there is awesome, because having those pictures puts in the show something that you guys can actually see while we're talking about it. So you can look at that. If you don't want to look at Gilly's face or Adagio's face or my face, you can look at a picture instead.
Well, who doesn't want to look at my face? I mean, come on.
Apparently Emma.
Well, that's because she wants to see Logan. That's all that is.
Okay.
She's salty. But everything she says is just because she wants to see Logan. That's all.
All right. I'll put more focus on putting pictures in the show. Some of them, during discussions, I'll have just one picture on discussion. And so I don't really change it up too much, but I think like going down different points, having different pictures like I'm doing right now, is actually kind of interesting to do. And yes, I do stream I love you and I care about you, and I make a point that when I'm on the stream, I look kind of off to the side here, because then it looks kind of like I'm looking at what we're talking about and that I'm looking in the direction of the guest. But if you'd rather, I could look straight at you and talk to you, and we can have a wonderful conversation about anything that you would like. So let me know what you think about that too. Would you rather me to look straight into the camera, or do you like side view?
They want to gaze into your eyes as you
Gaze
talk.
into my eyes? You can gaze into my eyes right now if you'd like. I'm going to take a moment. You can just look.
Blue eyes.
It's actually blue, green, and brown. I have hazel.
Or are you one of those people, like, depending on what part of light is hitting it, it'll change?
Yeah, it's sort of.
That's me.
How that works. Yeah.
That's me. Depending on what I'm wearing and depending how the light hits, my eyes change color.
But it's mainly a mix between blue, green, and brown. And when I was younger, I had an issue, or not an issue, I guess. Like when it rained, my eyes would turn blue, and when it wasn't going to rain, my eyes were green. So it was kind of one of those things where that went away, and I was really sad because I didn't feel as cool. But at the same time, it is what it is. And right now, with the light, how it comes off of the monitor, it goes into my eyes and looks a little bit more shiny than they actually are. Maybe it's too distracting. Maybe I need to stay looking to the side. Anyways, again, the show is called Self-Centered. Let's let's go on to the next segment here about interface. And one thing that I kind of make a point in is not to have any follows, donations, hosting notifications, or anything pop up during the show. The reason I do that is because I feel like it might derail the show itself. And there's different ways we could introduce that. If we had a donation pop up and just have it kind of in the corner but not make any noise or anything, and we don't mention it, just have it pop up and show. But at the same time, if someone donates and I know about it, I kind of want to show my appreciation. It's hard for me to hold that stuff back. So let's go ahead and start with you, Gilly. What do you think about having donation alerts and things like that during the show, or do you actually think it's actually a good idea to keep that stuff off?
We can keep it off. To be honest, like, I'd rather keep the attention of the viewers straightforward instead of, like, having to be like, stop the segment for a minute and then we'll bow our heads and pray to the donation gods. I think we should do it.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't do this show for donations, and if I get them, I of course appreciate them. But I don't want to talk about that the whole show. I want to talk about something that actually matters, that I make the show up for. And at that, I'm not even going to mention it again, out of my mouth. So the other thing is if follows pop up and we see those follows, again, we're talking about something, then they see it pop up, they look at the follow, and then they stop thinking about the conversation. And at least that's how I think. Daja, I think you had a slightly different look on it, right?
I see. If you want to have their follow/donations acknowledged, have the pop-up on the actual stream itself, but don't have any noise and don't necessarily let them know ahead of time. We're not going to say your name out and stop the stream. We shouldn't be stopping our topic to be like, oh, thank you so much for blah, blah, blah. There's no reason we should do that, because then that just breaks up the conversation and breaks up the flow. Mm-hmm. But if you do want to have them acknowledged that they had it on that they put in a donation, then maybe have their name pop up on this actual stream without a noise. So that would derail the top conversation. But just have the icon pop up like so and so donated, and then that's it.
Actually, I figured out a way to do the whole, recent followers, so it just pops up. Like, it doesn't do the notification, it'll just show up like a name under your, let's say if you have a graphic for it says recent follower and stuff. That's what I did for my new overlays. Like, I have a recent follower, and it pops up on it, and it just says the name. It doesn't show, the notifications or anything. That would be something interesting. And then at the end of the show, we can actually acknowledge thanks for the follows and stuff like that too.
Okay. I mean, that could be a good point too. I'm kind of leaning on not having anything during the show, but maybe after show, if we're having that after show segment, I can go down if there's any extra follows and just personally thank anyone who followed us after the show's done with. And while we're kind of catching up with chat and everything that we might have missed during the show. That could be another thing that we could add to it. And that way it won't devalue the show as much. But we can just wait till after the show and acknowledge it. Because I do appreciate the people who watch the show, follow, and they keep with us. Everyone who's watching the stream right now and who support us, I can't express my thanks enough. For people on YouTube, for the people here right now, you're all completely amazing for me. You make me feel like my work is actually appreciated in some way, and it encourages me to keep going forward. So enough of that. That's soapy crap. Let's go on to something else.
Frosty cares about us all.
Let's pretend that didn't happen. Okay. So the other thing that we have with the interface is that I have the game always playing in the background of the show. And I like that. I feel like it feels more active. You have something a little bit moving in the background. You can see people moving. It makes us feel a little bit more in the game. And people come up and show, and you jump around. And I kind of like having my character hidden behind this little black box, because when people come up and they start humping my leg, it's less noticeable. And so,
Gilly, stop humping his leg, okay?
Right.
Okay, I'll stop.
And so it's a little bit, I think it makes it nice and not crude or anything. And it's just a pleasant, like right now we're looking at a lake and we're looking at water, like it's raining in the background in Gridania. And if people want to come and be a part of the show and show up on screen, they have that option. They can do that. And sometimes I like to go in places where it's hard for people to find me. And that's kind of like a little Easter egg thing, maybe. What do you guys think about having a game up and running in the background?
I think it adds like a little hide and seek kind of game to the stream, like from us to the viewer if they want to come find us. And it's a little more interactive on their part, where they can like, oh hey, let's go find them, and it makes a little game out of it. So yeah, I enjoy it. Plus, of course, you got the nice little graphics in the background, in the water and stuff. I think it adds. It's a good thing. We should just keep doing that. Okay. Just keep doing it, I says. And that's it.
And that's like Kurt says, you should make it like a game.
Yeah. A game, like if you guys find me, then I will mention you on stream. That should
we'll have to hide off the map one time, just so people are like, where the fuck are they?
Yeah, do that Limna Lenosia thing where we're just like off in the water, we're running below it. And I mean, yeah, you do have to be
to /party invite.
Yeah.
I know where you're at.
I have the interface completely off, so it's impossible otherwise to find me. The other thing is, you have to be on Exodus for that to actually happen. So this is only kind of a benefit for people on Exodus. Maybe I need to create characters on other servers, and then I can do it from other servers, and you guys have to find out what server I'm on if we want to make it meta enough. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's a little too far. I think you're going a little too far there, man.
Yeah.
Or this is actually a nice idea that you can have. You know how we have like guest segments? Maybe you make a character on their server. That way you can kind of scope out, stuff like that.
Yeah, that could be an idea, and that's kind of like guest visiting. Although all of my characters will look like bums, but it might be all right. We can make that work.
That also depends on if you can make a character before the server is locked out.
Yeah, before the server lock, so that kind of makes it a little bit difficult too, I guess. We would have to plan it out and sit there and watch that lodestone post the entire time, like a week before they come on the show, and try to get in their server. So we can do that. It's possible though. Okay, so we're kind of getting near the end of it. Is there anything else that we haven't brought up from the viewers, or anyone else that has anything else to say about the show that you guys think we should discuss? Besides, Badagio Bedante?
Yeah, there was a time where our data center actually fell off, and I made a character named Gilly Wannabe, and he found the server I was on, and he made a character named Badagio Bedante.
Nice.
Because it's a thing in my stream, if I do something messed up, everyone's like, Badagio!
Yeah. And actually, we have a quick question from D'Amico about if you're a new player, how do you choose a server? I mean, when you go through that whole section, if you're kind of locked off on that, let me get that lodestone post up just one more time so you guys can have that. Where is it? Character creation. Here is a link that you can go to, and it tells you the best times to actually join that server, when that server is actually open for you to join it. I would recommend going to that.
If you're a new player, definitely do not join on a legacy server, because you'll probably have a really hard time making money and all kinds of stuff, because those people have been playing for years. So
yeah, and it really, choosing servers and data centers and everything, it comes with making the character.
Yeah. So. On top of that, you also, if you have friends, you can consider making on their server too as well, because you don't want to be playing by yourself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want people to, if you have a friend, don't give up just because you can't join their server. Find the time to get on that server and play with them. I wouldn't just join a random server.
Actually, D'Amico, just join Exodus. What are we talking about? Everyone just join Exodus.
Don't worry about it. I think it's open right now. So go ahead.
We are your friends.
Everyone, Exodus. Right now.
Yeah. All right. So, going forward, let's talk a little bit about the future. There's not a lot of information to put off here, but I want you guys to know the future is super green. There's only a couple of people who are actually going to get that reference, and maybe Adagio, Gilly, when you see the thing come up on the stream on your end, maybe you can understand the reference. I would really appreciate if someone besides me got the reference. That's actually going in there. Yeah, Fifth Element.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. We're super green going forward.
That is like one of his best roles.
This Fifth Element, right? Yeah.
Fifth Element.
Chris Tucker.
That was seriously one of his best roles. He hit that character hard.
Yeah. And I hope you guys are going to look forward to what we have going forward in the future. One of the things that I'm making sure, one thing that I have done is I've been kind of playing by as close as I can each show, and kind of building that as we get closer to the show, because I want it to be as relevant as possible when we got to that show. But I don't think that's as necessary to stay relevant, because I can change stuff going forward. So I'm going to try to have every single show that you guys watch planned out almost 1.5 to 2 weeks in advance. So we know who's going to show up on the show, what guests we're going to have, what topic we're going to discuss, and then news is going to build up before the show actually happens. and I hope you guys are kind of looking forward to that, because last night I just did this brainstorming that kind of came up. 14 votes for no breaks, by the way. Thank you, Kerr, for that. 14 votes for no breaks and 1 vote for a break, which was probably Emma.
Damn it.
So no breaks, guys. So getting back on topic, I have about 12 to 13 shows planned out for you guys already. You guys are good up until August so far. I don't have them completely written out, but I have the skeleton base for all of those shows.
So, Gilly, we don't have to worry about jobs until August.
You don't have to worry about jobs until August.
Cool. Grind fest.
The one thing that I will kind of let you guys know, we're also going to try to expand the host pool a little bit. And so we're not just going to have Adagio and Gilly, although they're amazing. You guys are great. But you guys will be on the show actually most often. And we will probably have you on here a lot. But if we talk about something, like with another example about story, maybe Gilly will kind of take the night off, and then we'll have a couple of people who really care about the story on the show, and Adagio, who I know cares about the story. If we talk about Gilly, maybe we'll have 2 people who care about Gilly on the show, and maybe Gilly on the show.
Well, that'd just be a Gilly-only show.
Oh, Gilly-only
me. By myself, talking to myself. So, Gilly, what do you think of today?
I think I should add beady eyes to Yoshi
I
P.
am so awesome. I think I'm doing well today. Look at how much skill I have.
Yeah, that's why my name's Gilly. Gosh, yeah, and I want to get more people on this show. I feel like we're a little bit limited if we just have a host pool of just the 3 of us, and we don't have anyone else coming on the show. And that being mentioned, I won't get too much into the details. There's going to be one show where I'm not actually hosting. Someone else is going to be hosting the show. And once we get that a little bit more firm in ground, we'll kind of announce all that. And that way you guys have other people with other opinions that might care a little bit more about the topics. And it broadens our pools of topics, too, because we're kind of limited to what we know about if we just keep it us on the show. So hopefully that's going to be a positive thing going forward. And then the other thing is that we're going to try to start doing a little bit of after-show discussion, maybe adding in art like we found throughout the show that could be something that you guys would like, is to discuss art or go into a little bit of detail about other things in the after-show. Just BS, whatever you guys want to talk about. And that way we're not taken away from the show, and we can actually have a little bit of fun afterwards. So that's kind of what you guys have to look forward to. We're going to be pretty awesome going forward, and I appreciate all of the support you guys have given us so far. Do we have any other things that we might have been missing before I go ahead and get close to the closing of the show?
No, but I would like to add something in that I didn't get to last show, maybe.
Okay, everybody. Let's, I'll tell you what, let's add it in the after show. We'll do it in the after show.
Hey, we'll do it in the after show.
We'll do it in the after show. And we'll talk about it. Let's give our closing thoughts on the discussion tonight. I think we've made actually a lot of progress, and I appreciate the opinions that we've given been given so far. And people on YouTube, trust me, I'm still valuing every opinion you can give me. So if you have something that you want to add to our discussion or something that you would recommend for us, let me know in the comments on the YouTube videos, and we'll definitely put that into consideration. Do you guys have any other closing thoughts before we end up?
No, just
peace, love, and jelly beans.
Yes, promote the show, guys. Go out there and say, hey, this is a great show. Come. Everyone just bring people. Bring more people.
And if they don't like the show, they don't have to stay.
No, they have to stay.
Okay,
tie them to the chair. Just like we do our guests we interview, tie them to the freaking chair and make them watch.
Duct tape. I don't know. Maybe something a little bit stronger than duct tape. Just a lot of layers of duct tape. That'll work, too. Keep going until you can noticeably see like a thick layer on their skin rising above their arm.
You also have to tape their eyes open, or else they just not watch.
And then you gotta tase them.
Tase them. Holy crap! Now
we're just torturing. What do you?
Far.
Okay.
Where's your trigger man?
All right. Let's talk about your shows as well. You guys streaming. I want to make sure you guys do your own little shout out before you leave. Gilly, where can they find you? Why should they find you?
You can find. Why should they find you?
Yeah, why should they find you? Come on, say
They shouldn't find him.
They shouldn't find me. Mm-hmm. I'm the troll under your bed. I'm just kidding.
I thought I heard some weird noises
Twitch.tv/furpeace. If you want to come hang out, like, pretty much I'm how I am on my stream on MogTalk. Same old dude. I talk a lot less when I'm raiding, but same person.
All right.
Same guy. Same time.
Cool. Adagio?
You can find me on Twitch at Adagio_Andante, and I'm a lot better than. No, I'm kidding. He's a good streamer too. We're actually in the same group, so we streamed together. So I just pretty much watch either one, and then you get the same content.
You just get two different perspectives on it, really. Right?
Yeah, and then you can also find me at Twitter at AdagioAndante02. I'm not on it too much, but I've been getting on it more. So there you go.
All right. And if you guys have any suggestions for the show or you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section or send it to me on Twitch, on my Twitch handle, or email it to the email I put out there a little bit earlier. I always like doing this, of course. Shout out. So we are doing a special stream tomorrow. I'll tell you guys about that a little bit in the after show. Shout out to Adagio and Dante. Shout out to...
There's a special stream? Did I miss something?
Well, this is between me and Kerr, so it's kind of like...
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, 2 for a piece. I said shout out 2 for a piece, and you just say shout out.
Is it an anniversary?
No, it's not an anniversary. It's just a new concept that I can't get it right, man. I don't know if I'm going to get a shout out for you.
He doesn't need one. It's fine.
There we go. Now you got it. So if you guys want to follow them, go ahead and click on their channels. Do it on a new tab, though, so you don't get off this stream, because we're going to talk here for a little bit. And follow them. Make sure you kind of watch when they stream. And you can see which one of those out of the 2. They're always competing for viewers.
No, I don't compete.
Okay, Gilly doesn't compete, so you're probably going to be watching Adagio.
What?
If you guys watching the show want to come up on MogTalk at some point, and I'm collecting names right now and discussing what we can do for shows and who we can have going on in the future. I do have a guest forum that Carrara set up. It's the little yellow button at the bottom that says survey. You hit that and it asks you a set amount of questions. And if you want to show up on this show, just promote yourself, and we'll try to get you on the show. Maybe we'll start doing a new segment where every once in a while we just have a whole bunch of viewers on the show. And that's all we do is we just BS with viewers on the show. It will be called Mog Raid Talk or something like that.
I have a plan for a future show. How about you, me, and Adagio, and whoever's with us? Like, if they're on our server, we should do a party finder.
Okay.
Together, and actually try to do something and fail at it.
And try to fail at it, so we're going to troll people?
Well, we got to play a class that we have never played before.
We can do it.
Well, if you haven't played it before, then how could you play it? You have to have it level to 50, so you've played with it before. Come on.
Quit being so technical.
I'm trying to get into the details of things.
Yeah, I do.
All right. Let me switch streams real quick here to the after show, and anyone on YouTube that wants to hear us BS for a while, you can feel free. This is just kind of extra stuff that. And yes, one of the titles I put here is you. Yes, you are beautiful and wonderful. I didn't put anything after it. I just said you are beautiful and wonderful. You are. Okay. And thank you for watching. Now let's switch over to the after show. 1 second. What is that weird noise?
It's not that kind of after show.
Not that kind of after show.
No happy ending.
Turn your camera off and do whatever you want to, but we don't need to see that.
You can all listen to Jen rage on Guacamelee.
Yeah, we can watch. Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so we got cameras off and everything here. Let me actually turn on my camera so you guys can see me. If you guys don't notice, Adagio and Gilly can't see me the entire show. And it's a little bit awkward, but it's fine. It works out. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for watching us, too. We've got so many people here in the show. And actually a lot of new people that I don't think I've seen here before. One thing that I wanted to go ahead and bring up just before I forget, with Kerr and I are doing a special show tomorrow, which is a new thing that we're trying to just give it a go and see if it works out, is a couples thing. So basically we're going to be playing games that aren't Final Fantasy XIV that people do as couples. So every once in a while I'm looking for a good co-op game to play with Kerr, but it's hard to find a good one. And so
Slender Man.
Slender Man would be great. But it's going to be us just playing a co-op game and then just saying if it keeps our attention, we keep playing. If it doesn't keep our attention, we stop playing it. So that's all it is. If you guys are interested in couple games, then you might want to watch it. And we're going to be doing that tomorrow at the same time, right? At
yeah, there you go. Portal 2. Portal 2, you should do that.
Portal 2, yep.
We've already played through Portal 2. We might do it too. We haven't played it together.
Do
though.
custom maps. Custom maps. And there are a crap ton of custom maps.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. Let me We might not have too much there, but I want to make
Borderlands 2, like what Los Pundos
sure. We
said,
tried
yeah.
Borderlands 2. We
What?
tried. And I don't know, it didn't stick for some reason. I think she got mad when I was trying to take the loot all the time.
You can actually set it so you're not always master loot or something.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like it's just hard to deal with loot where we get angry at each other and stuff like that. But okay.
Supposed to work together. Jeez.
Yeah. Thank you, Validus in reverse for the follow on Twitch. Thank you, OHoundR for the follow. Thank you, Deuce Custos for the follow, and See a Dog for the follow. Those are all completely appreciated. And guys, we had no drops on frame rate tonight.
I know.
Woot.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Things are improving here.
Yeah, things are getting better. Super green, guys.
Super green.
So one thing that I just want to go into detail about the whole ISP thing again, because I think it was on the internet provider. I called them. I argued I'd upgrade my internet to business so they would give me more attention and they would actually come back and actually focus on, hey, there might be an issue. And so by some act of God, I got the right technician to check the right thing at the right time, and he found static within the line somewhere coming from my house to the node. It wasn't from my house. It's just jumping on the same signal that I'm using and causing everything to kind of throw off. So they had technicians come out and check every single segment of line all the way to the node. So they finished that today. Hopefully they've corrected things that were causing issues, and we won't have issues in the future. But
It's good.
tonight is a positive result. I just have to wait. I'm going to wait till all week probably.
Yeah, it was
Before,
Gilly.
no.
He was trolling the internet the whole time.
Gilly, great.
I
Good
was
thing.
hiding.
You're a jerk. Hopefully it's completely fixed, and we'll see it going forward in the future. And I'm glad we had no frame drops because I forgot to do the local recording today. So
Could have been bad, man. Could have been bad.
could have been real bad. All right, and what other things were we missing out on? Oh yeah, Adagio, you had a piece you wanted to say about the lore from last week that you had
Yes,
to.
exactly. And it is lore, so if you haven't gotten through 2.3, I believe, could be a little spoilery.
Yeah.
So it's basically the difference between Echo and Blessing of Hydaelyn, because it is not the same damn thing. No matter what you want
I think
to
it's the
say.
same damn thing. Go ahead and explain it
It's
to me.
not the same thing. I mean, let me just take my
Okay.
mic off mute here.
Okay.
There you
All right.
go. Okay.
I got all these notes.
Anyways,
Dust off my notes.
so the Echo prevents you from being tampered by the primals, and you are able to see past events, which we see in the game, where you can see other people's past events. And it's also usable by many people, like i.e. Minfilia has the Echo, and there's even the Sahagan Priest with Leviathan has the Echo. And the Sahagan Priest has an advanced stage of the Echo, is when you kill him, his being transfers to another Sahagan in his group. That's all part of the Echo.
Okay.
The Blessing of Hydaelyn, the Warrior of Light is the only person with the Blessing of Hydaelyn. No other characters in the game have the Blessing of
Then
Hydaelyn.
what makes it to where they can talk to Hydaelyn?
Echo. Having the Echo, you can talk to Hydaelyn.
Okay.
But you don't have the Blessing of Hydaelyn. It's a protective force, i.e. like at the end of the main storyline where you get the Ultima's Blast, you're protected by that shield, that barrier, which is part of the Blessing of Hydaelyn. Also, it lets you strip Laha Breha from Thancred. That's part of the Blessing of Light. And it also kept the Ascians from teleporting into the Rising Stones. I.e. when Nahabralis was unable to get to he was specifically said, since you have the blessing, I can't get in there, but Midgard Soma removed the blessing from you, now I'm free to go there. But we still had the Echo, but we didn't have the blessing anymore, so it's two separate things.
Okay.
So it's Echo and Shadow?
Echo and Shadow.
Okay. Do you feel better getting that out of your system, Adagio?
I do. I had all written up here, and then I had to leave early last show, so I was like, I have to get it out.
That sucks.
Because it is two different things.
They're the same thing.
No, how is it the same
It's the
thing?
same thing, Adagio. We just said it's the same thing. It's the same
Nobody
We
cares
don't-
about
we-
it.
Everything that you said is completely
We
worthless.
still have the Echo, but we do not have the Blessing of Hydaelyn anymore.
Okay. You
can still go fight Ifrit and not get tempered, but we still don't have the blessing.
Okay.
So.
All right, I'll believe you for
Midgardsormr
right now.
equals troll. Gilly is Midgardsormr. That's probably true. That's probably true. Are you?
You're a little stupid baby dragon. Is that what you are? That says everything's gonna die and you cut your wrist all day.
I have a half wing.
Oh gosh. All right, and
I definitely wanted to get that out there because I mean, it's really not expressed too well in the game, so people do get it confused. And I wanted to, like I said, we were doing lore, so I wanted to get out in the lore show, but unfortunately, you know, real life happened.
Yeah,
but I did have my super cat moment. I think everyone saw where the cat jumped off of my wife's chair and climbed onto my chair and was like hanging out in the stream.
Oh, do you sit like right next to your wife?
No. Well, when our computers were right beside each other.
Okay.
But the cat jumped off mine, and I watched the next day, and the cat like flew across the screen onto my chair. I saw the chat. They're like, "Holy cat powers!" or something.
Holy cats!
Like Adagio turned into a cat.
Yeah. So Adagio cat, what do you think about Midgardsormr? Meow. That's the end of the conversation.
I don't meow.
I don't meow.
I don't meow.
Right, meow. I don't meow. Right, meow.
Turn into Gilly. Just don't know anything about the story. Oh man. All right.
Well, the baby dragon is pretty cute, but I think he turns into that big dragon. There's rumors out there that he turns into the big dragon you ride. So, because they had like the same markings and everything.
That would be a little bit odd, but I guess I can kind of see that. Oh, we got an arc follow from Kurt the Green. Thank you for that follow too. Gosh, there's something else that I want to talk about in the after show, and I'm trying to think.
Yeah, no, I completely derailed everything.
We derailed everything, man.
I
don't even know.
That's what I do.
I'm railing Adagio's character.
Railing Adagio's character.
What are you doing? Stop, dude. What are you doing to my character? I can't even see. Dude, that is so freaking wrong. Seriously?
Oh, yeah, so the show itself has lasted about 2 hours, by the way. So, I think we did a pretty good job talking about the show.
Okay, dude, put your clothes back on at least. Jeez. Move.
No, put my clothes... Oh, no, they're staying off.
He's literally right behind me. It looked bad. It looked pretty bad.
Oh, are we talking about killing?
In the game, yeah, he's...
Okay.
Yeah.
It looked bad. He was behind me, and it looked really bad for me.
I was sitting down, so the way he was doing it really looked pretty bad.
Yeah, Terraria.
Terraria?
That's something that we tried playing, but for some reason we couldn't completely get into it. I liked Minecraft. We played Minecraft with each other for a long time, but then again, when you go back and play Minecraft again, you get bored after about 30 minutes or so. Or that's how I feel. Like, I can't keep interested in it. We'll see, though.
Gilly, you need to keep your feelings for me inside. We both have significant others in real life.
I am inside of you.
Okay, enough of the sexual innuendos. The game we are playing tomorrow night, though, is Towerfall. Have you guys heard of Towerfall?
Oh, I've seen that, actually.
Yeah.
It actually looks really cool. It looks like a Smash Brothers 2D.
Yeah. What were you saying, Adasha?
I have not heard of that at all.
It's kind of like a low-res, kind of 8-bit 2D side-scroller. I don't know. Like, you're not fighting each other, but you can kill each other. But you're trying to fight the monsters that pop up on the arena or screen that you're in. And it looks like it could be kind of fun. And so we're going to try that out and see how that goes. And if it doesn't hold our attention, we're not going to force ourselves through it. But if it does, then maybe we'll play it again next time we do it. And we can make that kind of a weekly thing. We just have time right now.
League of Legends together.
No.
We tried playing
wants to play
Dota together, and it didn't work out so well.
Nobody but you likes MOBAs. Go away.
Nobody. There's so many people that like MOBA. Although I can't play it because it's, I don't know. I have to depend on other people, and then people get mad at each other, and it gets annoying. I like StarCraft because I depend on myself.
I like shooter player versus player. I don't know about MOBAs.
Yeah. I mean, shooters you kind of depend a little bit on yourself too, because you can kill a whole team by yourself. So I don't know. MOBAs you can't
play
do
League
that.
together. You'll hate each other.
Yeah, we'll have issues with our relationship if we play League together.
Yeah.
So real quick, why can't you play games with your wife? Does she just not like video games, or?
Me?
Yeah.
She just can't find time to play video games.
Fair enough. Okay.
She says that she goes. No, she's actually sleeping. She says she goes to sleep too early, but she's been staying up pretty late lately, so there's time for her to play the games with me. She just really doesn't. When we first got together, she used to play all kinds of games, which was cool at the time, but then slowly just grew out of it. So, yeah. I do mean she does her.
You do you.
Dajo, grow up.
She does her.
Gotcha. Fair enough. That sounds like a marriage, actually.
That is grown up. I got to take care of myself sometimes, and that's why I play so late at night.
In the bathroom?
Yes, with my in the bathroom.
Okay, we gotta stop with that. You guys are ridiculous. Gilly, what games do you play with Jen?
Oddly enough, League.
League. Oh, that's so weird.
Who are you talking?
Like, she plays a lot on my PS4 too, so it's like she'll play a game and I'll play a different game too.
My hair is a little messed up.
Yeah.
Adagio, you're older than me, Emma. We already established that last night in my stream. You're older than me.
You know what? Optical is streaming right now. I don't know if he is going to stay streaming, but we should go ahead and just throw him a host anyways, because he's going to be on the show next week. So you guys can kind of see who's coming on the show next week, too. Is there anything else you guys want to get off your chest before we end the show? No, don't do that.
No, I think I really wanted to get. I got what I wanted to get out. So.
Cool.
Is it a pretty big poop?
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone sticking around and hanging out with us a little bit while we just kind of, I guess, cooled off from the show. And I appreciate everybody that watched the show, too. I know it wasn't a show more about the game, it was more about us, but I felt like I really wanted to talk about it a lot. Again, you guys are fantastic. Adagio, you're fantastic. Gilly, you're fantastic. Everyone is fantastic. And we should go ahead and say our goodbyes before we do the host. Go ahead, Adagio, say your goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
They can't see you.
Pleasure having you. Oh, damn it.
Now you just look like a fool.
I know, right?
Okay.
Anyways, thanks everyone for stopping by. And next time, ask more questions. Have questions prepared. I'm here to ask the questions for y'all. I'm y'all's voice. Please bring questions.
Oh, yeah, and live letter is what we're talking about next week. So if you have questions about the live letter, save that for the show, and we'll definitely answer those. So you guys got a whole week to prep for questions now.
I'm going to make another Twitch account just to troll Adagio.
Gilly?
I already do enough trolls. He frequently unfollows me and then follows me just so he can hear my freaking thing.
Nice.
So I still have it pretty loud.
Oh, damn it. I'm surprised you actually caught on to that.
Yeah, I noticed you just did it again recently.
Gilly, you want to do your goodbye?
Yes. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We all love you. Thanks for chilling, putting up with the trolls, putting up with all three of us and our shenanigans.
Hundo says he has 6 accounts. You gotta catch up to him, Gilly.
It's true, he does. All right, thank you everybody for watching. I'm gonna give it like 10 seconds of like dead air time, so there's a little bit of a clean cut going into the host for Optical. Stay tuned for Optical so you can kind of know what to expect from next week. And thank you all for watching.